Hey guys, how's it going today? We are so glad to be back with you. Been an insane week. We'll talk more about that as we get into the podcast. But did a little driving up to St. Augustine, went over to Winter Haven, back here. So
back to St. Augustine, back here.
Oh yeah, you went yesterday too. Yeah. So
lots of travel.
Yep, everything's going good. We're in the heart of volleyball season. Games, tournaments, practices. They have another game tonight. We're recording this Tuesday. So it's busy. We're in that crazy busy sports parent season.
We are, and at church we are about to have our tailgate party, which is our 4-year anniversary of being in Palm Coast at Beachside Community Church.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. We're happy to celebrate that, but also just like the tailgate party is fun, but there's a lot that goes into planning it and getting it ready and stuff.
A lot of work, yeah.
A lot of work goes into it, but we're really excited to celebrate and to have a good time there. So that's coming up.
Yep, I see all the memories from this time like 4 years ago, and it's like very mixed emotions because it's so sad to like say goodbye to a lot of those friendships, and then so exciting to move to Florida, be on the coast, and to think about everything that's happened in the last 4 years here. It's very overwhelming to think of all the different people that we've had an opportunity to connect with and be a small part in having their lives change. So it's always interesting as we roll around to this time of year and celebrate that anniversary. Mm-hmm. The transitions are hard. You know, you've all been in different transitions. We're in a season of transition now, but the transition's hard. But coming through that and getting settled and finding your way and your people and your community, it's awesome. It's real awesome.
God is good.
So.
He's been so good to us.
And I think that's trying to think if there's anything else we need to catch you up on. We're going to catch everybody in the podcast up on stuff going on. So I don't want to say it twice.
Yeah. I think we can. Okay. I think we can go for it.
You think we can gather around?
I think we can gather around. Let's have a family meeting.
All right. Family Meeting is a show that's all about family relationships. We're the Osterkamps. I'm Thomas, and this is my wife, the librarian. Does she think she looks like a librarian? You were supposed to do a messy bun or something. We talked about it.
Babe, I cannot do a messy bun. Messy buns hate me. You know what my problem is?
You're 40 years old. How can you not do a messy bun?
Because if my bun is messy, I try to fix it so it's not messy and that it's just a bun. And that actually looked like a librarian. I did a bun and I was like, oh, I look like an old lady.
Old lady. You look like the
so now
lady
I have
on
my
Tweety
fun
Bird.
Ponytail.
Tweety Bird.
Yeah, I do. I look like
Tweety Bird's grandma.
Tweety Bird.
Yeah.
All right.
The librarian.
Are you done making fun of me? For wearing glasses? I have been made fun of since I was 4 years old for wearing glasses.
So are you going to take the glasses off and do the
transformation?
Yeah. How does she look, everybody? Amazing.
You married me.
You look like Cousin It.
Hey, I've been called worse. So
Today.
Okay. Hello and welcome to our family. Welcome to episode 257 of the Family Meeting Podcast. We are so happy to have all of you, our friends, listening in with us today. On today's episode, we're beginning a 2-part series about marriage threats, internal and external. And today, we're going to get the discussion started with internal marriage threats. So how to recognize and defeat what's hurting your marriage from within. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I think it'll be a helpful conversation over the next couple of weeks. Before we do that, though, we are in the middle of a very weird, emotional life change stage. This past weekend, we took our second-born daughter, Isabella, up to Flagler College. And it's just weird not having her at home. Mm-hmm. So we take her up there, and they have a staircase that goes upstairs in the student center building, and they're basically like, hey, you, the student, Isabella, you go up, get checked in, get your keys and all that. Parents, you wait down here, grab some coffee or some water or something. And so we're sitting down there just waiting for her, and they have the saddest music playing, we're like both crying. I'm like, how do you not have happy music playing right now?
Yeah.
Like, we are emotionally dying inside, and you're playing this slow, sad songs.
It was so weird because in the student center and all over campus, they have all these signs that say welcome home to students. And I love that. It's like beautiful. But it made me cry for two different reasons. It made me cry. It made me cry because I'm like, this is not her home. Her home is at our house, you know?
Yeah.
So like I was dealing with that. And then the other side of it was like, oh, they love my daughter. They want her to feel like she's home. It's so beautiful. So I'm just like crying about everything from all angles. I'm crying because I'm proud of my daughter. I'm crying because I'm devastated she's leaving. And for all of you parents who like are starting to feel sorry for us, she's only 40 minutes away. She's coming home every weekend. But yet we are like these lumps of emotion. And I keep telling myself like, why are you being like this? She's not that far away. And yet.
But here's the reason. Because it really doesn't matter how far. It's not about how far away she is or how close she is.
Yes.
It's the fact that our family will never be the same.
Yes.
Like, our family's never going to go back to what it was when it was just the six of us all the time. Mm-hmm. And we've kind of been slowly walking that way with Catherine, our firstborn, getting her job, starting her business, and she does a few different kind of jobs. And so there are a lot of times where she can't be involved in what we're doing. And we literally had to have a family meeting and basically say, hey, we want you older girls, Catherine and Isabel, to know you're always welcome on whatever trips and stuff we're doing, but we can't plan them around you.
Not anymore. Their schedules are too different.
So we'll let you know when we're going to be doing things, and you have to let us know if you can be there. So we've already kind of started this, but this was like the real finality. Like, the page has turned and we are here.
Right. And then shutting the door with her still in the dorm. I don't know what that was. That felt heavy to me. Like, just being like, okay, bye. Like, of course we hugged. Ooh, we did like a group hug. Then we you hugged. Then I hugged. And we're like saying goodbye. And then we shut that door, and I like as the door is shutting, I like can see my daughter in there sitting at her desk in her dorm, and I'm just like, ugh, it just hurt.
Yeah. I do want to say this though about Flagler College. They had the best like unloading your stuff into your room system I've ever seen anywhere.
It was incredible.
So when we pull up to Lewis House, which is where Isabella is staying, they have the baseball team there.
Mm-hmm. All these big burly guys.
You basically park, tell them what room you're in, and they just start unloading the car, carrying it to the room. It was, I say within 5 minutes, we had everything unloaded.
Yeah, and I only walked into the dorm once. Like, I didn't come back out and go back in and go. Like, I walked in once. You came in twice, right?
Twice, yeah.
And everything was in her room. And then
and the car was packed.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. So this is kind of interesting, and we are going to do an episode in like maybe 3 or 4 weeks talking about the transition of taking a child to college and things. For those of you who maybe have kids going to be going to college next year or soon after. So we are going to do a whole episode on this, but after she's like moved in and we come back home, we had to have a family meeting with the 5 of us. So our family minus Isabella, and we had to say, okay, things are different now. Chore charts have to change, which we don't actually have charts, but they're old enough that we don't need charts. But like, who does dishes what day? How does the lawn mowing work? Dog walking, all of the normal chores were divided by 4 for the kids. Now they've got to be divided by 3. And what does that look like now? And how do we make it fair and make this family function in a new way? And it was just like, even that was hard to have that family meeting for me emotionally. Like, I didn't cry or anything, but I could feel the heaviness of it.
Well, and here's what I'm not looking forward to, because the chores were 4. You're going to be divided into 3, 2, 1, and eventually it's going to come down to me.
Yeah, because when they all leave, you have to start helping me.
Yeah, so it's going to come down to me. I'm going to be walking the dog, mowing the lawn.
Yep, you are. Taking out the trash.
Yeah, I do that already, but yeah.
But they do it a lot too. Like, our trash fills fast in a family of 6,
Dishes is one that it may need to fall in your territory because it takes me so long.
You're so bad. What's going to happen, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen.
Okay, tell me.
You listening to me?
I hear you.
All right. We're going to do dishes together.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but I wash.
Okay, whatever. You don't like to dry and put away or what?
No.
Okay. Well, we have a dishwasher, so there's not a lot of drying.
Yeah.
So.
But we dropped her off though, and I'm like holding it in as much as possible the whole day.
Yeah, but his eyes are glazy with tears the whole day.
Yeah, we posted a picture of us sitting in the lobby waiting for her, and both of our eyes are just like glossed over. And I'm ready to just kind of like cry walking back to the car because we had to park a ways away. And we go to leave, and it is downpouring, like the worst downpour you've ever seen. And so we get a couple of the empty tubs
that we had helped move in,
and we kind of put them over our heads, and we start walking. And some of the like water is up to our knees.
Yeah, it was I've
crazy.
never seen anything like that. Not in St. Augustine anyway, but I don't know. Maybe ever. Like it was like flash flooding.
So it was like just the distraction that we needed though to like
to get out of there.
Get through that moment.
Yeah, it was good. The Lord is good. He is always good to us.
We are excited because we have a couple things coming up. First of all, our Breaking the Cycle group coaching cohorts getting ready to start in just over a week. So feel free to jump in at any time. We'll get you access to the private Facebook group and all that stuff so you can begin the preparation for the journey that we're going to take over the next couple of months together. And I'm just excited for all the cycles that are going to be broken. And for just the personal growth, even for ourselves as we make this journey together. And then yesterday we had a Zoom call with a couple of the pastors from Lysandra Baptist Church in the Dallas area. And we're going to be with them October 18th for their marriage conference. And we want to invite all of our friends in the area to join us for that special event. We'll have the details coming up on our social media. But that's October 18th in the Dallas area. Make your plans to be with us.
Absolutely. Okay, well, let's get into our discussion for today because we are talking about the difference between internal and external marriage threats. And where this lies is basically where is the source of the threat? Where is it coming from? Within the relationship or outside of it? Because there are more than one threat, more than one kind of threat that comes out of marriage.
And what this kind of reminds me of is, I'm a pastor. I lead a church. I am the primary communicator in our church, and have been for a very long time. So it reminds me of the book of Acts as the church is getting started. You had attacks that were coming to the church from the outside with persecution and other things happening, and then you had attacks from the inside with deceit and greed and other things that were popping up. And so that's exactly the same kind of idea here, where you've got threats coming from outside, these forces and influences outside your marriage, but you've also got these issues that are in the relationship itself.
Yeah, and I think it can be really helpful for your relationship to identify where is the threat coming from? Where are the issues actually coming from? Because sometimes we assign the issues to places where they don't belong. Like, it's not coming from that. We're just distracted over here, or we're blaming it on this. So it's just something to really think about. And I think it can be helpful for all of our marriages to really understand and grasp the difference between the internal and the external. So internal threats are about what happens between the partners, and external threats are about what happens around the partners. And both can damage a marriage, especially if they go unaddressed. So there's a lot of different things that go into helping this. We are going to make this a practical episode. We believe in practicality and like, okay, what are my next steps? What can I do to work on this? And so we're going to talk about some different things, but strong communication and teamwork are usually needed to navigate both kinds of threats. And we're going to talk about external marriage threats next week on the episode.
I'm a little distracted because it feels like I'm podcasting with a completely different person.
Doesn't it though? I know. It's really, I'm like, this is my whole new look, my alter ego.
Those who are watching on YouTube, they see her with the glasses and the ponytail, which is not the typical way Lysandra does this. So.
I mean, I do wear a ponytail frequently.
Yeah.
Like, not frequently. I wear a ponytail sometimes.
Yeah. But this kind of takes me back to the girl that I was flirting with all those years ago.
Before I had contacts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wear contacts, and actually, if I'll show the YouTube viewers how thick. So these glasses are quite thick. But what's funny is we had to pay an extra $100 to get the thin ones. My vision is so terrible. I have terrible astigmatism. I can't see anything.
Yeah.
And so I have to have contacts or glasses.
Well, I remember when we first got married, this was in the first year or two. And I don't know if you broke them or lost them. What
My glasses broke, and someone in the church gave us some money to buy new glasses because we didn't have any money. So I was taping my glasses. I was wearing taped glasses like the total nerd. But we had no money. I had no choice. And I couldn't see.
Like, we go in there, and Lysandra comes out, and I'm in the waiting area. And she's like, I can't really make this decision. And they show me the difference in the glasses, and one was, I swear, it was like close to an inch thick.
It was extremely thick and heavy. They were so heavy.
Yeah. And so versus the other ones that are a lot thinner, probably less than half the size of the other ones.
You have to pay a lot more for that.
Yeah. And I was like, whatever it costs, get the thinner ones. I will go into debt, which is probably the case at that point in our marriage.
We probably
like the
did put that on a
going
credit
in
card.
debt.
Yeah.
But Lord, please, I cannot walk around with this woman with these glasses on.
You guys, I'm a total nerd. I look like a nerd, okay? I have so many times in my life. Actually, before I got these pink glasses, I was wearing a pair of glasses that were, I was using electrical tape on the bridge because they broke during one of our travels. They broke in my backpack.
I wish you could see her at night because she'd take her contacts off and then she would like hold both pieces to try to watch TV or read or
read my
something.
book.
Like,
I would have to hold both pieces together because when I laid down, they would fall apart and go towards my ears, you know? It was the stupidest thing. And finally, I think you're just like, go to the eye doctor and buy glasses. Like, just go do it. Because, you know, we always want to like save money on, I want to save money on myself. Like my kids, I'm like, we're going to the eye doctor right now. But it's me. I'm like, I can tape my glasses.
Yeah.
But the tape started to not work.
But here's the thing. Glasses were falling apart.
Yeah.
And most marriages don't fall apart because of outside pressure. See how I wove that back in there?
Yeah, it was not seamless, but good try.
Yeah. But they don't. They don't fall apart because of outside pressure.
Right.
At least not initially. I think initially what happens is they weaken from the inside. Mm-hmm. From the internal marriage threats, which is why we're focusing in on them first. They're weakened from the internal pressures, and then the external pressures come in and maybe finish the job off. But these internal marriage threats come from within the relationship itself. They typically stem from behaviors, attitudes, or issues between the couple.
Yeah, or maybe even just sin. Like a sinful heart, right? Like we are followers of Jesus. We understand that human beings are flawed. We have a sin nature. And a lot of these internal marriage threats that we're going to talk about, behaviors, attitudes, whatever, ultimately they are sin. Like they are just sinful behaviors. And we need to identify it. Sometimes I feel like we just need to call out sin when it's sin. Like, oh my goodness, stop sugarcoating it or trying to make it look pretty. It's just sinful behaviors. It's sinful attitudes, sinful thoughts.
Some of them are, some of them are not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get into it. We'll give you kind of a quick list of some of the things to think about. But we're going to hit them pretty quick because where we want to focus in on is how to resolve some of these things. As we read through here, you can kind of do a little checklist and you'll kind of know what are the touchy hot button issues for your relationship. And so they're typically easier to identify, but okay, how do we take steps to actually do something about it and repair some of the damage? So that's kind of what this is going to look like here. So when we're talking about some of the examples, these internal threats might look like, first of all, lack of communication. or just poor communication. Being able to communicate, we say this all the time, communication is king. Like, your relationship will only be as good and as deep as the conversations and the communication that you have with your spouse. So
Absolutely.
something to be working on constantly. But
Absolutely.
if you don't have that, it can cause a lot of problems.
It overflows into every aspect.
Well, and just for an example, girls are on volleyball team. And typically the communication from them is not great,
Right.
which
It's
causes
something they
a
work
lot
on.
of frustration and a lot
Yeah.
of irritation and a lot of last minute this or that that could be solved with just clear communication.
Yeah, and all of us parents are sitting on the bench, like, screaming at the court, talk it out, call it. I want to hear communication.
Oh, that's
Talk, you
between
gotta talk.
the players themselves. I'm talking about from the team to us.
Oh, I thought you were talking about calling the ball, which is a huge lack of communication that we see, that we're always like,
Yeah,
screaming
no,
at
I
it.
mean like the coaches.
Yeah. There are times
We
where it's
have
like,
no idea what's happening.
oh, yeah.
Where are we supposed to go?
You're
Like, what
supposed to
time are we
be
supposed
over
to be
here
there?
at this time, and you're like, I'm an hour away. Like, yeah, yes, right.
So, like, a lot of those frustrations could be cleared up if it was just clear communication, and the same is true in a marriage relationship.
Absolutely. Another thing, and this is something that we like to talk about on the podcast frequently because it's so prevalent and also can cause so many issues, and that is poor conflict resolution. So that can be an internal marriage issue where, like, you guys just don't know how to resolve conflict, maybe at all. Like,
Yeah.
so conflict never gets resolved, or it gets resolved, and while you're resolving it, you're creating 5, 6, 7 more problems by the way you do it. So poor conflict resolution can be an issue as an internal marriage issue. And it was certainly for us.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. Half of our fights were because of the way we treated each other in past fights.
Yeah.
It was such a mess. And you can hear more about that if you get our book, Happily Never After. We talk all about how terrible we were at conflict resolution.
Familymeeting.org/shop or on Amazon. Another one is jealousy or trust issues.
Those kind of go hand in hand.
And that could be stemming from a lot of different things. It could be your own personal history and things that you've gone through. It could be literally things because of what your spouse has done. But that's a real threat from the inside also.
Financial disagreements can become this internal marriage issue where you disagree about how to spend money or what to spend money on or how much money to save and all of the different things. We have some episodes earlier on about finances that you can go look up. This is really interesting because I think sometimes we look at financial disagreements as external issues, like you're not making enough money or I'm not making enough money, we're not bringing enough money in, or it's the groceries, like the cost of groceries are the problem. So that kind of feels like it's an external issue, but really this is an internal issue because it is the way each of you are viewing finances or handling them, and it creates the problem. Another thing is mismatched expectations or goals. So when one spouse has this goal, this expectation, the other one doesn't even know about the goal or the expectation or doesn't think it's reasonable.
Right. They've got their
Doesn't agree
own
with it.
goals or expectations or whatever, and they don't really align.
Yeah, which this is a big issue too. Actually, we talk about this in the book too.
Yeah. But this is one of those things when we're dealing with couples is like, okay, each of you talk about what your expectations are, what are your goals in different areas of your life, and where are you compatible? Where aren't you seeing eye to eye? How can you support somebody who, even if their goal is a little bit different than yours? Also, loss of intimacy or affection. So you kind of lose that closeness, that affection, whether it's physically, emotionally, all those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm. And resentment can build up. So resentment in a marriage, and I have so felt resentment towards you. Have you felt resentment towards me?
Not that I know of.
I think a lot of times that's a female emotion. Like, I'm not saying men can't have it, but I feel like women are resentful before.
Well, I think
more often maybe.
I think it can definitely be both, depending on the circumstances and what's happening. So, I think the reason I don't have not felt a lot of resentment is just the type of relationship and the person that you are, it especially early on, and we do talk about this in the book. I had a lot more growing to do than Lysandra did as far as relationships go, and learning how to do that. So you are a lot more compliant, gentle, kind, compassionate. So there wasn't a lot of reasons that would stir up resentment, but I could see how a certain type of personality, whether husband or wife, could cause resentment in their partner.
Okay. And unresolved past issues can be part of resentment, can feed resentment. And so that goes back a little bit to the conflict resolution. Maybe you're never resolving anything, and those unresolved issues then are turning into resentment.
Which can lead to bitterness.
Which leads to bitterness.
That lack of forgiveness, if you're holding on to something, and kind of the resentment and bitterness typically go hand in hand. And so you've got to learn how to forgive. And get that emotional healing. We talk about that a lot as we go to different marriage events. But that bitterness is like a poison. And I think about what the scripture tells us. A root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and many people are affected by it.
Mm-hmm. This one maybe is what every other thing stems from, and that is pride. Everything stems from pride, right? Because even in conflicts, it's our own pride that makes us want to be the winner or wants us to get our own way. It is our own pride that says, I don't want to work on communication. Pride is really the root of a lot
Money
of these
issues.
Things. Yep, pride. So pride is something to really think about. And if you're both dealing with pride, you got a lot of problems. That's really tough. It can be one or both of you, or maybe it's always both, right? Like we
all have pride.
We always have pride that we're dealing with, but that can be an internal marriage issue.
And going hand in hand with that is selfishness, where selfishness is a cancer to a relationship.
Yeah.
A relationship is not about you. It's not about me. It's about us. And so when we have this selfishness, this overriding selfishness within us, it really breaks down the relationship and creates this huge barrier.
Mm-hmm. And secrecy. Secrecy is an internal marriage threat. So if one or both of you are kind of keeping secrets or feeling like you can't share everything, most likely the only reason to keep a secret is because you're doing something wrong. Maybe you think you're trying to protect your spouse from information or something. Secrecy is not ever good. It is a huge marriage threat internally.
And all of these things that we've just mentioned, they're internal threats that typically then begin to move into external threats. You know, whether it's you're resentful and you're bitter, and so you go and you talk to your mom about it, and you just kind of complain to your mom about your husband or your wife. And so then what does that do? That creates a resentment and bitterness in them, and that starts to create an outward force into your marriage relationship. The secrecy and the different things where now you're confiding in a coworker of the opposite sex, and that relationship, that emotional attachment begins. And so you see how each of these things can then move into an external, like things even like disagreeing about money. Because if you have a disagreement about money, and then one of you goes and makes this huge purchase that has this like debt now associated with it, and we're struggling financially, that is an outward pressure now upon your marriage relationship that started because we didn't agree. And then somebody selfishly went out and made some purchase that they probably shouldn't have. So we want you to understand, we get to the root and talk about the internal first, and then next episode, we'll kind of branch out and see the externals as well and how to deal with those. But this is the thing that God knew about us as human beings. Our hearts have a tendency to grow cold. And that's what a lot of these internal threats do. They create icy hearts within us towards our spouse or our marriage itself.
Absolutely. Some people can just hate their marriage.
And so the opposite of that is being tenderhearted. And I think about what Ephesians 4:32 talks about. And for those of you that aren't familiar with what's going on in Ephesians 4, it's kind of giving us a list of things that we need to get rid of and then what we need to replace it with. And verse 32 says this, "Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another as God in Christ forgave you."
And I think that this verse would be a great verse to be like your theme of your marriage. Like take this verse and be like, this is the filter through which everything we do, everything we say, everything we think about each other will be filtered through this verse. It's such a good verse to apply to marriages.
Yeah, and that is a great point, because if you can just do these three things, like keep these three things the focus, it's going to solve a lot of the issues and a lot of the problems.
Right.
And practically will kind of help you walk through this, how to do this. But literally, if you can just, no matter what, be kind to your spouse. No matter what, have a tender heart toward your spouse. No matter what, forgive your spouse as God in Christ forgave you. Because sometimes I think, especially with the forgiving, we're like, well, you don't know what he did, or you don't know what she did. And I'm like, no, but I know what I've done to God.
Right.
And he still forgives me for what I've done. And I know he did that because of what Christ has done for me. So that is an excellent point, that this would be a great theme and a great focus as far as a verse for your marriage relationship. But I think about that tender-heartedness, getting back to that, which is the opposite of cold, hard heart. It speaks to compassion and emotional warmth, and it directly opposes the idea of a cold heart. It calls believers to maintain warmth, softness, and grace in their relationship, especially in the church, in families, and in marriage.
This other verse was kind of heavy on my heart because these internal marriage threats, they can just harden our hearts towards one another. And sometimes it feels like, okay, my heart is numb toward my spouse. My heart is numb toward my marriage relationship. My heart is hard toward my spouse. I hate him. I hate this marriage. I want out, whatever it may be. And sometimes it feels like if you get to that point, it's over. That's what it feels like. But listen to this verse in Ezekiel, and God is writing this to the children of Israel, but we can take this principle and understand who God is in this verse. In Ezekiel 36:26, he says, "And I will give you a new heart, and a new spirit I will put in with you. And I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh." And God's promise is a promise of hope that he can restore his people. Even a hard, cold heart can be transformed by God's Spirit. God has the power to do that. If he could do that for the entire nation of Israel, he can do that for you. He can do that for your spouse. That heart can turn from icy, cold stone to tender, warm, loving. God can still do that for you, so don't give up.
And I think, you're speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Right? Because there have been times in our marriage relationship where you've had those thoughts of like, I hate this dude.
Yeah. And I swore before we got married, I would never think that about my husband. I would never say that.
But you didn't really know him. You hadn't had to live with him.
I hadn't had to live with you. Yeah. Yeah. And there were times. Yeah. I remember, because I read it in a book. I read it in The Excellent Wife before we got married. I read, you may have thoughts like, I hate my husband. And I read that and I was like, I will never, ever hate him. Like,
but I love him.
I love him so much. And I've never hated anyone. I've never thought I hate that person to anyone.
And then I came along.
And he broke the mold. And there was a time I was crying in our closet. And as I was crying in our closet, I was like, I hate him so much.
Was this in Alabama?
Oh, yeah. Most of the horrific things in our marriage were in Alabama because we lived there for the first 4 years of our marriage.
Yeah. Yeah, early on was rough.
It was rough.
I had a lot of growing and a lot of changing
We both
to
did.
do.
We both did,
definitely.
Yeah.
But I definitely recognize that, and I'm thankful for the change. But that's exactly what she's talking about here. So we're not just. I think sometimes people listen to a podcast and they're like, "Well, they've got it all figured out. They've never experienced this. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, we're sitting here talking about this because we're passionate about it, because we've been on the opposite end of the spectrum.
We've lived this.
We've been to having all kinds of difficulties, like wishing we hadn't got married, hating one another. Like we've been there.
Yeah.
And so when we're talking about God can literally give you a new heart no matter what's happening, it's because we have experienced it ourselves.
Yes. So don't give up. There is hope for you. In God, there's hope for you, and there's hope for your marriage.
And so whatever the internal threats are, because it's probably more than one, and so whatever those internal threats are, we want to give you some practical steps to guard your marriage from that internal drift. And how to kind of rebuild through some of these things, protect yourself from some of these threats that are happening. And the number one top thing to do is to stay spiritually anchored together.
Yeah, this is good.
Because if you can get on the same page spiritually, that gives you the foundation to then work through whatever the issue is. And, you know, if you're not on the same page, then it becomes extremely difficult. Now, not impossible.
Right.
So you may be listening to this and saying, well, my husband or my wife is not spiritually interested in anything. You just focus in on you and you work on you. And to the extent that you can, bring your spouse into it. So just want to kind of say that. We do have at least one episode talking about this specific thing, that if you're the only one who spiritually wants to do something, you're the only one that wants to work on your marriage, what do you do? I'm just remembering that off the top of my head, so I don't remember the episode.
Yeah, I don't remember the
This
number.
is 257, but it's in there somewhere.
Yep.
So talking about staying spiritually anchored together. And one aspect of that is praying together regularly. Even short prayers build unity and spiritual intimacy. And there's just something about praying together.
I feel like we pray together more than any other time in the car while we're driving places. You know, we're driving to somebody to pray with them as they're, you know, on their deathbed, or we're driving to a church service, or we're driving to a conference, or we're driving to church itself, or, you know, whatever it might be. Oftentimes we're praying together at that time, praying for each other, you know, to kind of face this situation, help these people, make a difference, whatever it may be. But that, I feel like, is our like go-to time to pray together.
There's a lot
Yours might
less
be a bed.
distraction.
Yeah.
A lot less distraction, yeah.
We don't do anything well late at night.
No.
So like some people are like, we do couples devotions and prayer in bed late at night. I'm like, how? I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
We fall asleep. So that's not our prime time. We
And
can't do
early
that.
in the morning, it doesn't happen because we never get up at the same time. Today you got up before me, which is extremely rare.
Yep.
Typically I'm up way before you.
Which is so funny because remember when the kids were little, you would sleep in until like 9.
Yeah.
And I would get up early and do like a workout and then take care of the kids. And you would stay up so late at night.
Yeah.
And it's like now it's shifted. Anyway, it's just weird how things change.
Yep. Seasons change. So
They do.
in every season, you're figuring out what that looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
But finding a place where it's distraction free. And we're not talking about having to sit down and pray for an hour. It can be just a couple of minutes. Like,
Yeah.
hey, God, just be with my wife today. Give her strength, give her courage. And you know the specifics of what's going on in her life. And so you can specifically pray for those over her really quickly right before she goes to work or whatever's happening.
And I would say if you both decide like, okay, we're going to start praying together as a couple, we're going to pray every day for an hour, it's never going to happen. Like you have made your goal for you unachievable at this point. Like don't start there. Start with something really small that you can definitely achieve and then celebrate, you know, get that low-hanging fruit and celebrate it because, if you make your goal 1 hour a day, just like you might as well just forget it.
Yeah.
It's not probably going to happen unless you're like a retired couple, empty nester that you really have a lot more time.
Yeah, but even then, life's busy, even for...
Oh, it's busy for everyone, yeah.
So you're going to pray together regularly. Along with that, another great spiritual discipline that you need is read scripture together. Even a verse a day can recenter your relationship on God's truth. If you want some guidance along that, we do have a devotional going through Proverbs. It just takes a verse or two and applies it from a specific chapter, one for every day of the month.
And it's all about marriage.
And so it's just a great way to connect and give you something spiritual to talk about and focus in on for your relationship. Mm-hmm. What about the next one here? Why don't you give that? I've been talking a while.
Yeah, I know. We're all tired of it. I'm just kidding. But worship and serve together. So these shared spiritual habits bond you. And oftentimes I think we all think that worship should be contained to 1 hour a week, Sunday morning service. The worship team is up there, the band, the song leader, whatever you might have. And that is our worship. But worship should be every day. Worship should be a part of our lives. It's how we live. And so you can worship together, whether it's with worship music in the car together, which we frequently do that, worshiping God at the beach, you know, and just talking about his creation and how amazing it is that he has allowed us to be here or whatever. So we just worship a lot. And you can do that throughout your week. Serve together is so good. This one will knit your heart together is when you start serving together. So we really encourage that.
Well, and what I like about that is typically when there's any problems, we kind of focus in on ourselves and how the problem's affecting us. And what I love about serving is it changes your focus from yourself to the people who are in front of you. So whatever that serving looks like, the point of service is the one being served. And so you're serving God, but you're serving these other people as well. And so sometimes just changing the focus from yourself and whatever the issues are can give you a new perspective on what's really going on and what's really important.
Yeah, that's really good. But invite God into the hard moments, because these internal marriage threats, these are the hard moments. And we see in Ecclesiastes 4:12, a cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. So don't try to work on your marriage, just the two of you. You need the third strand, and that is God. Make sure that it's you and God and your spouse together.
And when there's tension, distance, or stress, just pause real briefly and pray. Even a 30-second prayer of surrender can shift your posture from defensiveness to grace.
This is true.
Just taking that little bit of time, and you're just inviting God into the moment to help you, whether it's wisdom, patience, being swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger, praying and asking for wisdom for the moment. There's so many wonderful promises. And so that little prayer can just give us exactly what we need to help us respond correctly in the moment.
Mm-hmm. All right. Another thing that you can do is prioritize daily connection. I feel like we harp on this. This is so important, you guys. Check in emotionally every day. How are you really feeling today? What's going on? It looks like there's something bothering you. What's happening? Or like, oh, you're so chipper and happy. What's going on? What makes you so happy? Share small wins, frustrations, talk about gratitude. Like all of that emotional check-in every day, staying connected is so important. And it's going to help you to prevent routines from replacing relational closeness, because that can happen.
Well, and I think about literally just last night. So last night I had men's night out, and Lysandra took our daughters up to visit Isabella at college, see the dorm and all that, because we just moved her in ourselves, so the girls hadn't been there yet. So I got home before Lysandra, and we kind of have our shows we watch by ourselves that the other one's not interested in. And then when it's time for bed, we have shows we watch together until it's time to fall asleep. And so Lysandra gets ready for bed. She comes in, and so I shut off what I was watching, and I went to start our show, and she said, "Hey, before you start that, I just want to talk to you." And she kind of wanted to share the emotions from being there with Isabella and everything else, but not letting. And what I love about that is her being upfront about it, and just talking to me about it. Because we have our routines, and it's easy to fall into them. Mm-hmm. And literally, because it's a routine, all right, she's getting into bed, I'm going to start it. And so she just stopped. She says, hey, before we do that, I just want to talk to you. And she just wanted to share her emotions and her heart and how she was feeling because of the events and leaving Isabella there and coming home. Because, we're, like we said, we're getting into this new season. But don't be afraid to disrupt the routine to make sure that you have that relational closeness.
Absolutely.
Because
so
the relationship is the most important thing. And I know that's hard for some of you who live and die by routine, but you got to remember the routine is supposed to be there to help the relationship, not the other way around.
That's right.
And so it's okay to disrupt those routines.
So I have to tell you this funny story about last night.
Okay.
So we see the dorm. It's, it's small. It's meant for 2 people. And we brought in all 4 of us in addition to Isabella and her roommate.
What's funny, though, is the dorm that Isabella's in, and you're like, it's meant for 2 people. We had, in college over in Pensacola, there were 4 of us in a room
in
that
the
size.
Same size. Yeah, I know.
Same size room. Yeah.
Your guys' dorms were tiny there.
Yeah.
So we wanted to kind of quickly get out of there. Like the girls looked around, we saw things. I helped Isabella brought my drill and we put together an easel for her art and stuff. So then the girls wanted a little tour of the campus, right? So we start going around the campus, we're getting the tour and the tour's done. And I told the girls I'm going to take them out for dinner. And so I let Isabella pick. She picked Zaxby's, which I love because I get a big giant salad there. It's like as big as both of our heads put together. It's such a good salad. So we have our
I just got to correct you.
Okay.
It's a salad.
A salad, yes. Okay,
salad
so I had a salad.
At Zaxby's.
And then we're sitting there and we're just talking because I think all of us we didn't want the night to be over because we knew that like when we're done with dinner, when we take her back to the dorm, we're leaving because you don't just sit around in that dorm. It's just too small. And so we're all kind of dragging our feet, right?
Yeah.
And we're just talking and telling stories and everything. And then Isabella is like, Mom, what if we have something sweet? And I was like, oh, well, I don't know. It's getting late, and all this. And the girls look out the window and they're like, McDonald's is across the street. Can we get ice cream? And so I was like, all right, okay, we'll go get ice cream. So I let them all vote. Like, do we want to go in and sit down? Do we want to go through the drive-thru? Everybody votes on drive-thru. So we go to the drive-thru and I get up there and it's one of those that's like cutting in and out.
Yeah.
It's not really clear. And I'm going to order cones, right? So they keep getting on there. And I think that what they were trying to ask me is like, if I wanted to order on the app, they're like, do you have the app? Do you want to order on the app? And I'm like, I would like to order verbally. And the girls like just start dying laughing. So all night long they were like, I would like to order verbally. And they're just making so much fun of me. Then this lady, so we're getting 4 cones because I have 4 daughters.
Yeah.
And one wants her cone tipped upside down in a cup.
Oh, geez. These
2,
kids.
these little princesses. 2 of them want like regular ice cream cones. And then Isabella wants no cone, just ice cream in a cup.
Yeah.
So I order all of these. The cones are like $1.25. So the 4th one, I'm like, no cone, just ice cream in a cup. So she charges me for a plain sundae, which is like $3.
Oh my gosh.
So I said, okay, scratch the sundae, take off the sundae. I was like, just give me another cone and put it in a cup. And then Isabella can give the cone to Violet. So you can just hear this lady is so annoyed with me, probably because I started out the order. We would like to order verbally. And so we get up to the window and the girls are laughing. And I had to tell the lady that they were laughing at me because I was so afraid that she was going to think they were laughing at her and making fun of her. We go up to the next window and that lady then is the one giving us our cones. And she was just like so annoyed with us. So we had this whole thing at McDonald's after that whole emotional thing at like Zaxby's where I'm like trying not to cry because I know it's about over. And so that was like our kind of crazy night at McDonald's.
Yeah.
So now, every time we go up to a window, I would like to order.
I'm just
verbally.
amazed the ice cream machine was actually working.
I know, I didn't think it would be. But here's what I don't understand.
That's what I thought you were going to tell me.
When you pull up to a drive-through window and they ask if you want to order on the app, I want to just be like, I'm here. I'm here I'm at the window. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Like, if I wanted to order on my app, I probably would have already done that by now.
It's like they don't want to be the one to push the buttons.
I think that all of these companies are trying to push people through their apps so that they have to pay less workers, right? That's got to be it, right?
I don't know, but I know I love Chick-fil-A app where you can go sit down, scan the number, and just order.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But it's just weird.
But they're not angry if you order in person verbally.
Yeah, they don't want you to order verbally. But I want to order verbally, okay? I don't have every app that there is, right? All right.
I need to bring this back in.
Bring this back in, baby.
So we're talking about prioritizing, daily connections.
Okay.
And even if you can just set aside 10 to 15 minutes of undistracted conversation daily, no screens, just like whether that's a lot of times that is us going on a walk, but sometimes it's literally like, hey, don't push play yet.
Mm-hmm, right.
Let's just talk.
Or sometimes it's in the middle of a show, like something that happens on the show will bring up a story or an emotion or whatever, and it's like, hey, push pause real quick.
Yep.
And we do that.
Yeah, we do that often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So having that daily connection is important. And then going back to Ephesians, being kind, practice intentional kindness.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is about being intentional. And the more you can do this and be intentional, the greater the impact it'll have. It's amazing how powerful even just tiny, small acts of kindness are.
They are.
Whether you leave a note, send a sweet text, do something thoughtful without being asked. And we kind of go back and forth on this all the time with different things that we do. Just yesterday, in fact, those of you who are watching YouTube can see it. Lysandra brought me a Red Bull yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I didn't drink it yesterday. I had it today for the podcast because I typically like to have something that I can grab and drink. And so I didn't ask for it. Mm-hmm. She just was thoughtful and brought it to me, something that I enjoy. And those are the kind of things where it's like, it's not about the thing. It's about you thought about me and did something nice for me. Mm-hmm. So when you do things that are thoughtful without being asked, it can speak volumes. And speaking of speaking, choose to speak words of life rather than criticism or sarcasm. And it's just these small acts of kindness that often prevent big emotional gaps. So I think that is a powerful one there. Mm-hmm. And the more you can practice those intentional kindness, even the little things, the greater the impact.
For sure. Keep short accounts. Forgive quickly. Okay. Don't let minor offenses pile up. And then pretty soon you've got that silent resentment that we talked about. Use gentle language. When you said that, it hurt me. Can we talk about it? Just this morning, I came down the stairs and entered into the middle of a conversation between Abigail and Violet. I don't even know what was said before I got down here, but as I walked around the corner, I could hear Abigail say, Violet, did I hurt your feelings? I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. And Violet was like, no, you didn't really hurt my feelings. So I don't even know what was said, but I just loved hearing them talk like that to one another.
Yeah.
And that's how we should be in our marriage relationship.
Which is not always the case.
No, this is a highlight. I can put the spotlight on the highlight right now. But there are some times when it's not that way.
There's a lot of times where I'm like, why are you talking like that? Like, why would you say that to them?
Yeah.
Like that.
Right. And we can be like that in our marriage relationship too.
Yeah, totally.
But we talked about, being kind and tenderhearted and forgiving right away. Because unaddressed frustration is one of the top causes of emotional distance. And we talked about that in our episode, Sleeping with the Enemy, talking about how unresolved issues and frustrations can make it so like you don't have any desire to sleep with your spouse, or you feel like when you are sleeping with them, you're sleeping with the enemy. So this is a really important one.
Well, and it's just amazing to me. And this is one of those things too, where before you get married, you don't really stop to think about how many times a day you have an opportunity with your spouse to do something that irritates them, annoys them, hurts them. Like,
for real.
It's constant, the number of things that you have an opportunity to forgive. And some of the stuff, it's like, just let it go. Like, that's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. Other things, it's like, okay, we do need to settle with this. But there are things all the time.
Yeah, like when you eat yogurt.
Catherine's on my side with this yogurt eating thing.
I cannot Actually, this morning, he comes downstairs and joins coffee time with me and the girls.
I know the way I typically have a protein yogurt every morning.
Yeah. So I'm drinking my coffee, and he comes and sits right across from me in the living room to eat his yogurt because he knows I hate to see him eat his yogurt. But today, folks, I'm wearing my handy dandy trusty glasses. So I just took my glasses off. I was like, I can't see you now.
Yeah, but my response was, but you know I'm eating yogurt, so you know what's happening over here.
I know, I could see it in my mind's eye. But seriously, like the amount of things that your spouse can do to irritate you, and then they do those things on purpose.
Yeah.
There's a lot to forgive. And right now I'm working on forgiving you for eating yogurt the way you do. Okay. So forgiving quickly. What else we got here, babe?
Guard your thought life.
Ooh, really important.
The next thing here. Mm-hmm. You need to be aware of negative internal narratives like they don't care anymore. I'm doing this alone. All those kind of things along the same line. And what you're doing, and these are things that aren't true. Mm-hmm. Like they're not true for the most part. For some of you, they may be reality, but even in that reality, you do need to guard your thought life against the negative thinking here because, there are people who do love you, who care about you. Our Savior is always with you. There are people that will walk alongside you, even if it's not your spouse. So working to guard our thought life and think about what 2 Corinthians 10:5 tells us, that we're to take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. And so we're not just to allow random thoughts to take control of us. We're to control them. And I think about what Philippians tells us, that we're to think about whatever things are pure and lovely and of good report, and it kind of gives us the list, but they're all positive things. Mm-hmm. We're never told to let our minds just dwell on the negative.
Right.
We're to control the negative thoughts and replace them with positive thinking.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Here's another one. Keep pursuing each other. Date regularly, even if it's, homemade coffee on the front porch or in the backyard, whatever. Take time for each other. Revisit your early stories. This is one of our favorite things. Actually, this is one thing that's fun about our podcast because we try to use our own illustrations and stories to be a warning for you or to be helpful to you. And so I think it's one thing that we love about I think it's one reason why we love podcasting so much is because we do get to relive our old stories. And you need to be doing that with each other. Talk about those old stories, whether they're bad or good. You can talk about those, laugh about old goofy memories and funny things that you did and stupid things you did. They're so funny. You guys have so many of those. Lean into them and enjoy them. Relive them. It's great. Yeah. Dream together about the future. Talk about those dreams. Flirt with each other. Be playful. I have a podcast episode that I want to do sometime coming up. That is, what kind of a responsive spouse are you? Are you a responsive spouse? Because you can flirt all day, with your spouse, and if they don't respond to it, they're, it's like my dad used to say, you can't argue with a brick wall. You can't flirt with a brick wall. You got to have something to work with. Give me something to work with. So I want to talk about sometime being a responsive spouse, but be playful with them. Respond to that stuff. Don't let your friendship fade. Keep working at it.
Well, and that's the thing is marriage isn't just a partnership. It's a relationship.
He steals all the good lines.
Quote me on that.
Yeah, I will. But it is a relationship. It's not a partnership. This isn't your roommate. This is your love.
Well, and I like this next one because it goes against kind of our natural thinking. And that is seek help before crisis hits.
Right.
We kind of tend to think that, hey, I only get help if we get to an emergency point, where it's like the whole thing's blowing up. Now what do? Let's get some help.
It makes me think about when our van is chugging and it's like, oh, geez, I don't know if we're going to make it. Can we make it? Yeah, let's go. Let's push it. Until finally, you turn the key and it doesn't start. And then you're like, okay, we'll call the mechanic now.
Yeah.
Don't wait until it's a dire need or you're getting a tow truck now. Take care of it.
Yeah. And this is the thing. If things feel off, don't ignore the drift.
Right.
Talk with a counselor, pastor, mentor couple, marriage coach. Go to a marriage event. Like, we're getting ready for this marriage conference that we're going to be speaking at in Dallas. Like, a marriage conference or marriage retreat is not just if your marriage is going to end, right? It's regular maintenance, continuing to work on and develop your marriage relationship. We all have room to grow in our relationship, all of us. So, every week of the year, at least once, Lysandra and I are talking about marriage and family, whether it's on the podcast or something else.
Yep.
Guess what? We still have room to grow in our marriage relationship. A lot.
Yeah.
And so, preventative care is more effective than emergency repair. Like, it's more effective if you go the earlier you go in. And it's a lot more work once you get to the emergency stage. And I like what Proverbs 15:22 says. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. And so how important it is to surround yourself with people who will love, support, and encourage. And we'll get more into this when we talk about external, but we want to talk about it here because you need some external to help, some of the internal issues that we're facing.
Yeah.
So make sure you seek help before a crisis hits.
And then this one has never been more of a reality for me than right now in our lives. And that is, don't let parenting replace partnership. Don't let parenting replace your relationship. And it has become so meaningful that we have invested in our marriage relationship through the parenting stages, because now we have kids leaving the nest and those kids are gone. And the kids who are still at home, they're starting to have their own independence and go their own way and choose not to, they're choosing sometimes to work on family day, which is totally acceptable. And they have the option to do that.
Yeah.
But when that happens, like, then we lean into each other because we have a relationship that's strong, that's been built with lots of intention over the years. And children need a strong marriage more than they need perfect parents. So don't put all your focus into being everything for your parent and then neglect your spouse.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden they leave and you've got nothing. Make sure that your spouse doesn't feel like they become a co-manager only. Like, it's just, you're just working together on these kids. No, this should be the number one relationship on earth, is your marriage relationship. So just guard that.
Yeah, last week I was talking with my friend Chris about this exact thing because we both have daughters named Isabella, and both of those Isabellas are starting Flagler College right now. So the same day we dropped our Isabella off, a couple hours later he dropped his Isabella off, and he still has a son at home who's in high school. And so we were kind of talking about, getting ready for the empty nest and all that. And he was talking about how he was trying to work harder at being intentional on going on dates and stuff with his wife, because like he realizes like pretty soon it's literally just going to be the two of us, and we want to make sure that connection is strong. So I thought that was great, and I told him, I was like, that's excellent, because otherwise your kids leave and you're married to a stranger. You don't even know the person who's there anymore, because
then you feel really
people
alone.
Change over 20, like for us, people change over 22, 23 years of parenting.
Yeah, and when you feel like your spouse is a stranger, you feel alone. Alone. That is a terrible feeling. All right, let's do this one. Celebrate and show gratitude. Regularly affirm what you appreciate in your spouse. And you should be able to find something that you appreciate about them. Maybe it's their character, their effort, they tried, their heart, their kindness. Gratitude changes what you see and keeps your heart soft and connected to your spouse.
Well, and here's the thing. Even though you have these different problems going on, whatever they are, these internal issues, there's always something positive you can say about your spouse.
Always.
Like, there's always something good that you can look for and see. They may really suck at communication, right? But they work hard to make sure that you have a roof over your head and food on the table and all that stuff. So just because they're terrible at one issue or multiple issues doesn't mean they don't have one or two areas where they're doing something positive. So make sure that you celebrate and show gratitude for whatever the positive thing is.
Mm-hmm. So if your marriage feels distant, strained, or even stuck in cycles of hurt, these are the steps that are going to help you toward restoration. This is what some of the things that you can do, some of the things you can implement. But don't forget that there is hope for your marriage. No matter what the internal issues are, God can handle it. God can turn your heart of stone or your spouse's heart of stone to tender, warm, loving toward you or toward your marriage. You can strengthen your marriage from the inside out. And some of these are some ways that you can do that. So I hope this has been very helpful for you. Maybe you feel like you need more, or it would be helpful to have more, or you just like something that you can maybe do with your spouse that's like a little bit of homework, something that you can really implement. And if you would like a bonus resource, we have that for you. We have the Marriage Threats Self-Check Worksheet, and we would love to email that to you. You simply email us at info@familymeeting.org and let us know that you want the Marriage Threats Self-Check Worksheet, and we will email that over to you, and you can continue this conversation with your spouse, continue to deepen your connection, and work on these internal marriage threats.
So with family meeting tonight, you're going to sit down and have a conversation with your spouse and just talk about these internal threats that we have brought up. Or maybe there's one we didn't bring up, but man, it's really affecting your marriage or relationship right now. And so you're identifying what is the current threat or threats that we're facing, and what is a plan that we can work to develop to deal with the threat that is in front of us so we can strengthen our marriage relationship.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting Podcast from your favorite podcast provider. And if this information's been helpful for you, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, or email us at info@familymeeting.org. If you'd like to shoot us a text or call us, you can send a voice message at 904-257-3062.
And we would like to invite you to join us for our next family meeting next week as we finish up this two-part series about marriage threats, internal and external. Next week, we're going to continue the discussion with the external marriage threats. So tune in with us next week.
Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned. All right, internal threats here. What are some of the biggest internal threats that you have noticed in your relationship? What are the things that you personally need to make sure that you're working on? Is it lack of communication, poor conflict resolution, selfishness, resentment, or some of these other things that we have talked about? And like Lysandra mentioned, if you want that kind of self-checklist to work your way through and help to evaluate, make sure you do reach out to us, info@familymeeting.org, and we'll send that over to you. I hope that each of you have a great week. Do us just a favor and share this episode with somebody as we try to help more and more marriages gain strength and be the joyful, fulfilling relationship that it was intended to be. And if you can join us in Dallas on October 18th, we'd love to see you there. Until then, we'll see you next time.